Hi, I'm Daniel, and I saw the new movie Minions and Monsters. I've talked about this franchise before, my most popular video being about how Minions is actually amazing, which was 5 years ago now apparently. I've defended this franchise in Illumination and Studio Yacht before, but was mixed in Despicable Me 3 and 4. I found the main series yakking, and in general, Illumination this decade has found a way to get even safer with their movies. However, I was looking forward to it that the Minions movies have so far been great in my opinion. I was a bit disappointed when I found out Kevin Stewart and Bob weren't going to be in this one, as I loved them and stand by saying they can carry several movies. However, a trailer made me accept that decision just by seeing how different this felt in a way I liked. Following a different tribe of minions and their involvement in classic Hollywood just sounded fun. Merging minions with cinema just sounded like a combination I wanted to see, especially with them going all in on the tribute and homage to old film. This also had the monsters, with a title that was already used in a great short film on Minions playing Dungeons and Dragons game. The Minions do feel versatile, as characters that can be put in any setting or time period and be funny with that. So I was glad this was looking to go in that direction. The early reactions gave me a higher claim than most of these films, made me more excited to see it. And while not without its flaws, this is such a great movie and a franchise that has a 5 out of 7 track record of doing that. In this video, I'll discuss what about this movie just works so well for me. The story involves a tribe of minions looking for a boss, ending up in Hollywood and becoming overnight stars, until the introduction of sound pictures takes that away from them, leading to an aspiring minion director named James wanting to make a monster movie and summoning real monsters to make that happen. This is a very fun set of events to watch unfold in many great ways, even if it sometimes feels like scenes more than a story. I like the rap fans telling the story that isn't overused or made annoying like it was in the Book of Life for instance. I mainly love how classic Hollywood is portrayed, showing how a film set yucks and the black and white silent film shown. This news broadcast in the middle was very fun, and I like this angle the rise of sound films effect, and James wanted to fulfill his potential as a film director. This comes off as such a genuine love yet to film, with so many references putting both obvious ones and subtle ones in the background. It's clear they are referencing Casablanca and other almost century-old films for the main target audience, and it just feels like a passion project from the people making it done with this IP. It feels like a type of film that will get kids interested in film later in life, and I love it doing that. I like this taking place vaguely in the 1920s, and what's done with that time period. The details capturing a decade in the Minion movies are really good. It's not intended to take place a certain year, as suffragette protests in America and the Oscars existing had no overlap, but it didn't need that. It's in its own fictional world where it can reference whatever movie it wants and make sense. There's also the monster part, which isn't as good, but I still like the supernatural elements. It concluding in a wacky climax way it does is so great. Granted, at a certain point some of these ideas do feel done in the franchise before, with a battle on Hollywood being already done in Despicable Me 3. There's also the opening showing the Minions past bosses, that was done in the first Minions. While still fun, this just stands out compared to its weaker pacing without the same speed. This pacing just feels off when the story only properly starts happening halfway through, leading to a very minuscule second act. While it stays fun and entertaining throughout, this does feel like it's stretching itself to a fair 90-minute runtime. For as fun as the doorstop plot is, it partly feels like the movie was running short and needed something else added. The story and character arcs aren't together with all four great movies in this franchise, but it's still solid here. I stayed invested in where it would go and how it's constantly presented in unique ways. Even past when the plot is more connected to film, it still keeps the energy in a chase scene shot from one angle and the time you have building a film set. This just has a fun energy to it and such great slapstick that feels mastered here. The antics that the minions get into are just the right amount of wacky, with some great comedic sequences like that train sequence. The minions themselves will always just be funny to me in their language interactions, and them being the right amount of not human creatures but still human-like. This is really good as a comedy, and just easy to get into its absurdity. The animation also looks great here, being a very good cartoony style achieved, and shot in very dynamic ways, specifically in action scenes. I just like the character designs here of the humans, and how fitting out of place the monsters look. This movie just looks great visually, and can have a good score too. Now onto the characters. This has introduced a new minion tribe, and while they can't match the original trio, they are still good characters. I really like James the protagonist as a creative being who doesn't fit in with the collective, and I liked him finally finding fulfillment through filmmaking. I feel like a bit more could have been done to make his arc feel better, and have him be more vital to the climax, but he's still a strong protagonist. I also liked Henry and Ed, even if they mainly serve as James's friends. Dick is the other minion named, and he's a funny character as a serious leader, often made a joke. And then there's Max, who I really like how the very from this comedic director guy to a strong source of inspiration and support for James. Christoph Waltz gives a very good voice performance, making him energetic but also earnest at the same time. Dot is a pretty funny character, with me liking how the whole story goes, and Jesse Eisenberg being cast in this franchise is just a good fit. Now for the monsters, mainly Boomy, who is a fine villain. I like how they only make it twisted characters, but it often comes off very convenient that James doesn't catch on to it. The voice in the sign is solid, but he's not a villain I get much from. You can make an argument the villains in the Minions and Despicable Me movies are generally going downhill as they go on. Irene ends up sharing that role, but it's just a big monster to fight that's effective but little more. There's also these two all big monsters that are mildly funny but not memorable. While I don't think everything here entirely works, this is just so much fun at giving more wacky and inventive time with the minions. Just the opening credits and the bit at the end of our movie set just has so much whimsy to it and overall just made the movie better. In conclusion, I give Minions and Monsters an 8 out of 10. It's really good, although in more reflection, I wouldn't call it on the level as the first two Despicable Me movies and the first two Minion movies. Still, the Minion films have yet to miss, although this feels more like another spin-off than a Minions 3. I feel like any classic film fan who doesn't dislike the Minions should watch this. It's a cool route for a franchise to take that I want more from the series going forward. I am once again asking for a Nelson family movie. This showed faith in a human nation doing something daring, and while it's like not going to make as much box office as the other Minion movies, it's still probably be a success. I also hope their next original film, Now Your Own, ends up good, even if I'm not sure under the sign so far. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video reviewing this film. I've got more ranking coming soon after a month of single film videos. Uploading videos consistently feels weird now. The end.